Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into the fascinating world of food as medicine. We're drawing insights from a really compelling conversation with Dr. William Lai.
Yes, his work is quite groundbreaking in this area.
We'll explore how everyday foods, things we eat all the time, can profoundly impact our body's natural defenses.
And maybe challenge a few common beliefs about nutrition along the way.
Exactly. Our source is excerpts from that YouTube video, Let Food Be Thy Medicine, on the Dr. Rangan Chatterjee channel.
A great conversation, that one.
Our mission here is simple. Extract actionable knowledge. How can you, listening now, leverage food for better health, better resilience?
Without getting totally overwhelmed by, all the science jargon.
Precisely. So to start, think about this analogy Dr. Lai uses.
Yeah.
Imagine disease, like cancer, is an overflowing bathtub.
Okay.
Everyday things, stress, diet, environment, they're the taps filling the tub.
Right. Constantly adding water.
But your body's defense systems, they're the drain, keeping the water level down.
I see where this is going.
And food. Well, food can either help clear that drain, make it bigger, more efficient.
Or can clog it up further.
Exactly. It emphasizes how food impacts these natural health defenses we all have.
These intrinsic systems designed to keep us well. It's about supporting them proactively.
Proactive wellness. And one key area is DNA protection and repair. Food can literally help fix damage.
It's like making that drain bigger, as you said, with the bath analogy, giving the body more capacity.
Yeah, because our DNA takes a beating every day, right?
Yeah.
From pollution, even just normal metabolism.
Absolutely. It's under constant assault.
Oh.
So the idea that food can help defend and repair, it's quite something.
It really is. And get this, the kiwi fruit, just a regular kiwi.
Oh, yeah.
Research shows eating one kiwi a day helps your blood neutralize about 60% of incoming DNA damage.
60% from one kiwi.
Yeah. And if you eat 3 a day, it actually helps your body repair DNA that's already damaged.
Wow. 3 kiwis. That's achievable. It really shows the power packed into whole foods.
Doesn't it? It's not just vitamins, it's these bioactive compounds.
Exactly. Natural chemicals in food doing amazing things.
Dr. Land had this great analogy, like the old missile command game.
I think I remember that one.
Antioxidants are like shooting down the incoming missiles, the damage.
Okay. Neutralizing the threat.
But some missiles get through, make potholes. Foods that repair DNA, they're like patching those potholes.
Oh, okay. So defense versus repair. 2 different mechanisms.
Yeah. Makes you realize how much is going on in like an apple or a kiwi that we just don't see.
And this is where the whole food as medicine concept really comes into its own, scientifically speaking.
Right, because it's not just folk wisdom anymore. Science is using the same tech as drug development to study food.
High-tech stuff. Genomics, molecular biology.
Yeah, to see exactly how food works at a cellular level. You can even compare food to drugs directly in some tests.
Which gives it real credibility, within the medical community. It builds that evidence base.
Definitely. And speaking of therapeutic potential, let's talk about cancer and angiogenesis.
Angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels. Crucial process.
Crucial for healing, yes, but cancer hijacks it, right?
It does. Cancer cells need a blood supply to grow beyond a tiny size. They trick the body into building blood vessels just for them.
Like building their own private highways for nutrients.
Pretty much, yeah. It fuels their uncontrolled growth.
And this is where it gets really interesting with food. We know there are anti-angiogenic drugs designed to cut off that blood supply.
To starve the tumor. It's a major cancer treatment strategy.
But Dr. Lai mentioned a study comparing one of these drugs to powdered green tea extract.
Green tea.
Yeah. And in the lab test system, they found similar anti-angiogenic effects.
That is striking. Green tea compounds interfering with those signals. Of course, it's a lab study, but still.
And it's backed up by larger studies like the EPIC study in Europe.
Yeah.
Huge population study.
Right, looking at real people over long periods.
They found women drinking 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily had up to a 50% lower risk of ovarian cancer.
50%. That's a massive association. It shows the potential power of consistent long-term dietary habits.
It really does. It's different from a drug trial, isn't it? Food benefits often build up slowly over time.
Exactly. It's more like the tortoise than the hare. Steady, cumulative effects from complex whole foods, not just one isolated molecule.
A sustained, holistic benefit. I like that.
And it's not just green tea, black tea, even Earl Grey.
My favorite.
It has different benefits. Studies show black tea can actually encourage stem cells to release from your bone marrow into circulation.
Stem cells, the body's repair crew. Black tea helps mobilize them.
That seems to be the case. These circulating stem cells help regenerate tissues all over the body.
Wow. So much for the idea that green tea is always better. They just do different things.
Precisely. The fermentation process for black tea creates different bioactive compounds. Both are beneficial.
It's incredible. And many whole foods seem to have multiple benefits, hitting several defense systems at once.
That's often how nature works. Synergy. Foods packed with various compounds offer multi-pronged support. Our defense systems work together too.
Makes sense. And back to angiogenesis, it's not just cancer, right?
Imbalances there cause other problems.
Oh, definitely. Too few blood vessels can hinder healing after heart attacks or strokes or cause issues in diabetes.
And too many.
Too many fuels, things like macular degeneration, rheumatoid arthritis, alongside cancer. Maintaining that balance is key.
And keeping those microscopic cancers, the ones we all probably get, from getting their own blood supply.
Exactly. They can't grow beyond the size of a pinhead without angiogenesis. Foods can help keep them in check naturally.
Now, you mentioned inflammation earlier.
Yeah.
And how it connects to angiogenesis.
Ah, yes, they're very closely linked. Think about a cut. First, inflammation redness, swelling the cleanup crew.
Right, fighting infection. Then soon after, new blood vessels grow to heal the tissue. The inflammation actually signals for that vessel growth. It's a coordinated, helpful process.
So acute inflammation is good, necessary even.
Absolutely. The problem is chronic inflammation. That low-grade smoldering fire. That kind of inflammation can actually promote unwanted angiogenesis, the kind that helps tumors grow.
It all keeps coming back to supporting these defense systems, doesn't it? Making smart food choices builds resilience.
It really does. It's an empowering approach. And importantly, as Dr. Lee points out, start with healthy foods you already enjoy.
Yeah, that's key. It shouldn't feel like punishment.
Find the joy in it. Make those healthy, enjoyable foods staples. Much more sustainable.
Totally agree. Okay, let's tackle oils. Always a confusing topic. Olive oil gets good press, but what about others?
Well, first off, oils are fats, so moderation is generally wise, whatever the type.
Right.
And reusing oil, especially for deep frying, probably not the best idea.
Right.
The heat changes its chemistry.
Okay, so avoid reusing. What about types?
Focusing on good quality ones like extra virgin olive oil, maybe avocado oil, some nut and seed oils in smaller amounts. That seems sensible. Better fat profiles, sometimes more antioxidants.
Better oils, reasonable amounts. Don't keep frying in the same stuff.
Got it.
That's the gist of it.
Now, food combinations. You mentioned sometimes putting foods together helps you absorb more goodness.
Yes, synergy again. Think olive oil drizzled on vegetables. Many beneficial compounds in veg are fat soluble.
So the oil helps you absorb them.
Exactly. Or lycopene in tomatoes, that powerful antioxidant. Eat tomatoes with olive oil or avocado, like in guacamole.
Guacamole.
And you absorb much more lycopene. The healthy fat is key.
Love that. It's not just what, but how. What about turmeric and black pepper? Heard about that one.
Classic example. Turmeric has curcumin, and anti-inflammatory antioxidant stuff.
But hard to absorb.
Very. But piperine, the active compound in black pepper, dramatically increases curcumin absorption.
So a pinch of pepper makes the turmeric work better. Simple?
Simple and effective. Are there bad combinations, though? Things that hinder absorption?
There are a few. Dr. Lane mentioned adding cow's milk to tea, particularly green tea.
Oh, why?
The fat in the dairy seems to bind to the beneficial catechins in the tea, reducing how much you absorb.
Catechins. Those are the good antioxidant things in green tea.
That's right.
Yeah.
So maybe hold the cow's milk if you want the full green tea benefit.
Interesting. Okay, what about supplements? We're all busy. Is popping a pill a decent substitute for, say, eating broccoli?
Well, the name says it all. Supplement. It's meant to add to a healthy diet, not replace it.
Right.
Whole foods offer this complex package: fiber, various phytochemicals, things that work together. A vitamin C pill is just vitamin C. An orange gives you C plus fiber, other compounds.
The whole orchestra versus one instrument?
Kind of, yeah. Supplements definitely have their place. Vitamin D is a big one, folate for pregnancy.
Sure.
But relying on them entirely, you miss out on that synergy. And be wary of miracle claims on supplement bottles.
Good advice. Foundation first. Okay, organic versus conventional. Is organic really worth the extra cost?
Dr. Lee shared some fascinating research here. A study on strawberries
Yeah.
found organic strawberries had significantly more ellagic acid, that's an anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer compound, than conventional ones.
Whoa! Why? Less pesticides means less good stuff. No, wait.
Yeah, the theory is the opposite. Plants make these bioactives partly as defense against pests.
Ah, so organic plants maybe getting nibbled on a bit more?
Might ramp up production of their protective compound. So organic might mean more good stuff, not just less bad stuff.
That's a cool way to think about it. More benefits, not just fewer risks.
Potentially, yeah.
What about peels? Should we
Sure.
be eating the skins of apples, potatoes?
Generally, yes, where it makes sense. The skin is the plant's first line of defense, often concentrating those phytonutrients and phytochemicals.
Like the apple peel, pear skin.
Exactly. You might lose some of that goodness if you peel everything. Of course, wash everything well,
Yeah.
especially if it's not organic. Even rinsing onions for a minute helps.
Good tip. Okay, shifting gears. Autoimmune conditions. They seem more common now. Any food connection.
It's a complex area, but yes, diet seems to play a role. Autoimmune is the immune system attacking the body itself.
Mistaken identity.
Right. And Dr. Lee told a story about a patient with hypothyroidism, an autoimmune thyroid condition,
Uh-huh.
whose symptoms dramatically improved just by switching to a whole foods diet, even cut down on meds.
Wow. That's powerful. What's the thinking there?
One idea is that additives and components in ultra-processed foods might confuse or trigger the immune system in some people.
So removing those potential triggers?
By eating whole, unprocessed foods might help calm things down, reduce inflammation, let the immune system reset.
Unburdening the system. Makes sense. But what if someone can't eat a superfood like kiwi or tomato? Allergies, intolerances.
Totally valid point. And it's crucial to remember, health is about the overall dietary pattern, not relying on one single magic food.
Right. It's the big picture.
Exactly. If you can't have kiwi, maybe red peppers or guava for vitamin C and fiber. Can't do tomatoes. Watermelon has lycopene too.
So there are always alternatives.
Usually, yes. Find other healthy foods you enjoy and tolerate that offer similar nutrients or benefits. Don't stress about missing one specific thing.
Good message. Okay, let's loop back to cancer. We talked prevention via angiogenesis. What about food during treatment?
Huge area, especially with immunotherapy, which is revolutionizing cancer care.
Using the body's own immune system to fight cancer?
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
It is, and incredibly, the gut microbiome, your gut bacteria, seems to be critical for how well immunotherapy works.
The gut bacteria influence cancer treatment success.
It seems so. Specific bacteria like Akkermansia mucinifila are linked to better responses.
Necromantia. Okay.
And guess what? Foods like pomegranates, cranberries, Concord grapes, they help promote Akkermansia growth.
No way. By feeding the good bugs.
Essentially, yes, by encouraging a healthy gut lining where they thrive. So your diet could potentially boost your treatment response.
That is fascinating. Any others?
Another bacteria, Ruminococcus, linked to dietary fiber, also seems important for immunotherapy success.
Fiber. Like from fruits.
Vegetables, whole grains. One study found that for every extra 5 grams of fiber a day, think one pair of patients on immunotherapy had significantly better survival rates.
One pair's worth of fiber made a difference.
In that study, yes. It highlights that food isn't a replacement for medicine, but it can be a powerful ally.
An additional tool, like with President Carter, who had that amazing response to immunotherapy.
Exactly. These are real possibilities.
Okay, quick question on cancer. Sugar. Does sugar feed cancer? What's the deal, especially with fruit?
Right, common question. First, our bodies, especially the brain, need glucose, which is sugar.
Okay.
The main concern isn't the natural sugar wrapped up with fiber and nutrients in a piece of fruit, it's the added sugars.
Like in sodas, processed foods.
Exactly. Huge doses of added sugar overwhelm our systems, mess with the microbiome, fuel inflammation. That's the problem.
So don't fear the apple, fear the candy bar.
Basically, yes. Human studies consistently show health benefits from eating whole fruits despite their natural sugar. Focus on cutting added sugar.
Makes sense. What about not eating? Fasting. Intermittent fasting is popular.
Fasting, even just overnight or skipping a meal occasionally, seems to give our defense systems a chance to reset and repair.
How so?
Well, calorie restriction impacts several systems. You could potentially curb angiogenesis, boost stem cell regeneration, improve the microbiome balance, enhance DNA repair, maybe even slow cellular aging.
Wow, a whole suite of benefits just from giving your digestion a break.
It appears that way, that activates these different protective pathways. Even just natural intermittent fasting because of a busy schedule might offer some perks.
Interesting. Okay, as we draw towards the end, if you had to pick a few top foods you personally focus on, what would they be?
Let's see. Based on this kind of research, definitely green tea, coffee too, maybe organic for more chlorogenic acid.
Okay.
Leafy greens like Swiss chard, kale, mushrooms, maybe sun exposed for vitamin D.
The mushroom trick.
Kiwi for that DNA protection we talked about. Tomatoes for lycopene. And dark berries, blueberries, blackberries packed with good stuff.
Great list. Practical stuff. On the flip side, what do you tend to limit or be mindful of?
Definitely sugary drinks, sodas, juices, bad news for metabolism, stem cells, gut bugs, immunity.
Right.
Artificial sweeteners too. Diet sodas. Evidence suggests they can harm the microbiome and might even be linked to weight gain, paradoxically.
What else?
Ultra-processed foods, things in boxes, cans with long ingredient lists, preservatives, generally linked to poorer health.
Makes sense.
Alcohol moderation is key. The ethanol itself isn't doing you health favors, even if wine or beer have other compounds.
Okay.
And processed meats. The WHO classifies them as carcinogenic. Maybe differentiate between traditional cured meats and mass-produced deli stuff, but still, be mindful.
That's a really clear rundown of things to embrace and things to perhaps reduce.
Yeah, and the core idea, really, is just understanding that food talks to our body. It influences these incredible defense systems we have.
And knowing that is empowering. It gives us agency over our health through choices we make every day.
Choices that can be enjoyable, too.
Absolutely. So, a final thought for everyone listening. Think about your own plate. Based on everything we've talked about, what's one small, doable change you could make?
Maybe adding one specific food or swapping something out.
Yeah, something sustainable. Maybe it's that kiwi or brewing green tea or just checking labels for added sugar. Something to support one of those defense systems.
Explore it further. Dr. Lai's work is a great starting point.
It really is. Well, thank you for diving deep with us today into the power of food.